Thank you all for joining us today for our Worried About Your Fuel Bill session. And I think we couldn't have been any more topical if we tried, could we? Given that the price cap rises at what, 54%, which is even higher than, I think, worst case, they were thinking about 50%. I don't think there's going to be many people out there who are not worried about their fuel bills and what that's going to mean for us all going forward. Just in case anybody isn't familiar with SCARF, I thought I'd do a very brief intro. We're a charity, social enterprise, and we were founded in 1985, so we've got plenty of years of experience under our belt. And during that time, we've been providing energy advice and trying to eliminate and reduce fuel poverty across the northeast of Scotland, which would be much easier to do if they didn't keep moving the goalposts and raising national insurance and price caps and gas crises. But anyway, having said that, there are around 60 of us who work at SCARF, and we are funded to do this work primarily by local authorities in the area and by the Scottish Government. Just got a little slide there just to kind of give you a bit of a sort of scale. This is a little bit out of date now, but we'll update for the next year. But we do speak to a lot of households, and we do work with a lot of partners to reduce carbon and to try and alleviate fuel debt and help people get in control of their bills. So how can SCARF help? Without further ado, what I'm going to do is introduce Laura Head, who is a Community Partnership Officer who works on the Scottish Government funded Home Energy Scotland programme, and she'll explain a little bit about the Warmer Home Scotland programme and how this may be an option for you or people that you know. Laura.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, can you just go to the first slide, Lynn? Yep, so it's just to let you know, so it's the Scottish Government Warm Home Scotland programme. It offers funding and support to householders struggling to stay warm and keep on top of energy bills as well. You can access it by calling Home Energy Scotland or directing, if you're a partner organisation, one of your clients to us. They'll check what support is available and put any eligible householders in touch with Warmworks, who are the managing agent as well of the grant. Can you do the next slide, Lynn? So improvements offered do depend on a survey of the property. So assessors will, go out to the home, survey and recommend suitable improvements, which can include a range of sort of insulation and heating. And, there's a little list of a couple of options there. Most cases as well, all the costs are covered by the Scottish Government as well for most people. And can you do the last slide, Lynn? If you don't, or your client doesn't perhaps meet the eligibility criteria, don't worry, there are other sort of options and that available through ourselves at Home Energy Scotland. So it's just not to get too caught up in the criteria, just to, direct anyone through or call through yourselves if you are looking for any help or advice, and we'll do what we can. So on that note, going to pass over to my colleague James, who's going to talk you through the area-based schemes as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. My name's James Buchan. I'm Project Manager with SCARF, and my role is to support the delivery of area-based schemes in the North East. We'll just pop to the next slide, please. Okay, doke. So, area-based schemes. So this is under the kind of broad umbrella of the home energy efficiency programmes for Scotland, HEAPS, ABS, as it's called. And it's basically designed and delivered by local authorities in conjunction with utility companies and local delivery partners, of which SCARF is the main one in the North East. And it's set up to target sort of fuel poor areas and provide energy efficiency measures to a large number of households in the North East to help reduce fuel poverty. It's primarily an insulation programme delivering solid wall and hard to treat sort of cavity insulation, and it's based on the EPC rating of your property rather than, you know, your circumstances in relation to kind of benefits and things like that. I think the important thing to say about energy is, you know, the cheapest energy that you can get is the energy that you don't use. So, you know, insulation is very, very important to try and reduce the energy demands in your home. Scarf supports the delivery of a number of heat pump schemes in the North East, primarily involved in the Aberdeenshire area at the moment, and we're looking to open up one in the Angus area shortly as well. So if you're interested in that, your first port of call would be Home Energy Scotland, and they can assess you and forward you on for that scheme if it's in a suitable area and you know, you're eligible for that as well. Can we pop to the next slide, please? Okie doke. There's another scheme that we operate in the North East, another area-based scheme called the Energy Company Obligation, or ECO. This is essentially funding that comes off everybody's electricity bill. If you look at your electricity bill, you look at the pie chart on the back of that, you'll notice arguably a third of the bill goes towards what we call environmental kind of charges, and there's a slice of funding comes off that to support, you know, the alleviation of kind of fuel poverty, those kind of approaches. So really it's a government energy efficiency scheme across the whole of Great Britain to help reduce carbon emissions and tackle fuel poverty. And through the ECO scheme, you could get a grant to cover or contribute towards the cost of your home energy efficiency improvements. It's been on the go. It's been on the go since 2013. To help make energy saving measures such as heating and boiler replacements and insulation affordable for householders. Every major energy company in the UK has been obligated to provide funding for installations that cut carbon emissions and reduce fuel bills. And just in summary, we provide management services to support a number of eco schemes in the North East, including Aberdeen City, Angus, Perth and Carross, and a new scheme we've just rolled out in Dundee City. So similar to the HEAPS AB scheme, if you are interested in this, I'd get in touch with Home Energy Scotland to find out about any schemes in your area and eligibility. The ECO is associated with the receipt of benefits, although this has been kind of relaxed in recent years to bring in you know, people in low incomes that are not necessarily in receipt of benefits. So if you're not in receipt of a benefit and, you know, you're looking to improve your home, contact Local Energy Scotland, Home Energy Scotland, sorry, and they can take you through their process and, you know, advise you if you're maybe eligible for a local area-based scheme. Thanks very much, Lynn.
Right, okay. Thank you, James. And we will hand over to Sean from the Home Energy Advice Team, and he'll give us an update on probably like the most direct advice and support that we offer at SCARF.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. My name is Sean Macqueen. I am the Senior Energy Advisor for the SCARF Home Energy Advice Team. If you want to move on to the next slide, Lynn. And what we do here is we're kind of boots on the ground. So we're going out to people's homes, doing home visits and giving practical energy advice. We would go in and maybe look at people's loft insulation. We could look at their heating systems. We could look at what we think a person can do to sort of either lower their energy consumption or to maybe try and get them savings within the home. Now that's usually done through looking at grants and schemes. So we work alongside Home Energy Scotland, making referrals so people can get grants towards improving the home. But we also kind of look further afield as well at kind of financial assistance towards your actual bill. So be it fuel debt, top-ups, maybe help towards funding a bill, could even be food vouchers to help you make the decision. So you tend to take the decision out of people's hands, having to choose between heating the home or actually eating, which kind of just now I kind of feel that question or that choice is going to be happening more. We're funded via the big local authorities in the North East of Scotland. So our reach is Dundee, Angus, Perthshire, Aberdeenshire and Aberdeen City. So any clients within these areas, anybody, be it you're a homeowner or you're wanting to refer somebody on to us, we're more than happy to go out and help them with anything that we possibly can that's energy related. I think the big thing just now is probably we're looking at financial assistance towards people paying their bills and debts. So if you have anybody or you are a person that has got financial debts with their energy or are struggling to pay their energy, please kind of come our way and we can have a look at what we can do. Thank you, Lynn. It's brilliant.
Okay, thanks very much, Sean.
Cheers.
That's basically a very quick hurl through the types of stuff that we can do, and that's our getting in touch details. Home Energy Scotland's website is just homeenergyscotland.org. It's quite straightforward to get hold of, and you can do an email request or for advice or call us. Do we have any questions from the floor? Because obviously there's a lot of information, and there's a lot of other information that's coming through. Do we cover the Moray area? We do in terms of Home Energy Scotland. Our reach is wide there, and although Sean's team doesn't, we do have an energy carer that covers the Moray area who can provide similar levels of support. Would that be fair? Am I talking out of turn? Does anybody want to?
No, that's you're completely correct. Yeah, Susan, I put under with Home Energy Scotland does cover the Moray area. Unfortunately, myself, I cover the rest of the North East, I'm afraid.
In terms of area-based schemes in Moray, when it's not one that we manage, but if anybody's in the Moray area, I would encourage them to contact our local authority to see if there's any local area-based schemes in the Moray area.
And they'll still get picked up on that if they come in through the Home Energy Scotland.
Yep.
They'll still get that. And Laura and Diane, who's Laura's colleague, they work and cover the partners in Moray, and so you're not left on your own. Did you want to add anything to that, Laura? I see you'd put your camera on, because I see that I've also got a question for you.
No, that's fine. That was it. Just to say that partnership-wise, we do. I just thought I'd put my face back on screen for questions. But yeah, I see Donna's got a question as well. Hand up.
Hi, Laura. I've actually got quite a few participants on my caseload that I've sent forward to yourselves, and some of them have been helped, and some of them, they say that they're not eligible. They're out of work on their own benefits and that. Would you be able to, is it the type of meters that they use that makes them ineligible? Or, you know, because I don't want to be referring people and getting their hopes up that they're going to get some help, and then you're not able to, so that I can sort of maybe judge it a little bit before I refer someone.
Is this for the Warmer Homes Scotland?
It's just for
everything.
Everything, yeah. Usually they're struggling. Obviously, they're struggling with their bills, but
it's really difficult to say exactly. I mean, because everyone's circumstances are so different. So, you know, what one person's maybe knocked back for, it would be really hard to say. I mean, as I say, I am the partnership officer. So if there's someone specific that you're working with that you want to put through to me and you want me to look into a little bit more, you know, detail for you and get you a little bit more feedback as to what maybe was the reasons that, you know, they weren't able to get financial help, that's something that we can do as well. It would be really difficult to give you an idea of, you know, an overview for everybody to tell you what to look for. I think we would all agree that would be a difficult thing. I'd maybe say just to keep putting people through for assistance and then come to me with maybe any specifics. But Sean as well.
No, I was going to say there, Donna, when you were saying something about a meter, did the client say to you what the problem was at all?
Yeah, if it's I think if it's a card meter, you can help them, but if they're paying by direct debit, you obviously can't. Is that correct? If I got that information correct?
I think we're getting mixed up with schemes here. Was this for financial assistance towards like bills?
Yeah, they've been.
Yeah.
I get quite a regular occurrences, people who don't have money for their bills. So, but obviously, I don't want to go and forward them to yourselves if I know that they're not going to be accepted. If I've got like a rough idea of the kind of candidates that you're not going to be able to help, because it's, you know, these people are really struggling, and I didn't want to get their hopes up, obviously.
Oh, no, totally, Donna. When it comes to financial assistance towards the build, it's very much we've got to pivot because schemes open up and then close down very quickly. So there's actually a scheme just now that would help people with direct debits, could potentially help with funding towards that. We'll have to go through an application process. It's not a quick fix, but there is potential. But as you can imagine, once the funding's gone, the closed down, and there's maybe a month or two of no sort of real assistance, and then suddenly a new scheme appears. So
I see.
so
So
I would.
it's not like if you do a benefit scheme and you give cards out or you give assistance, that it's always going to be the case. It can change. Am I correct?
It can change on a whim, Donna. So I would say, yeah, you don't want to get your clients' hopes up, but I would still suggest that you keep referring through because, like I'm saying, right now there's a scheme called the Home Heat Support Fund that could potentially do what you're asking. But again, how long the funding stays open for is anyone's guess.
Can I ask, is that government funding? Is that where all the funding comes from?
Not always. It depends on what scheme is, but I do believe that the Home Heat Support Fund, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm fairly certain that's government funded.
I think it is because I think the referral agency is a government body as well. I mean, I think that the thing is there, we're seeing in terms of, I was saying, Kathy, you've asked about like portal referrals as well. I think that the thing to do here is to make the referral through the portal or refer them. And if you've done it that way, pick it up as like take up like Laura and Diane on their offer as well, specifically, because what they will then do is make sure that there's notes and that they can chase it up so that if Sean, because we will, we all link together, but it just depends if sometimes they get an advisor that's maybe not aware of the schemes and stuff, or it's somebody new, but we can certainly link in, and Sean constantly briefs the phone teams as well on what's
happening. Another thing, my colleague that used to run the portal, we used to send all our referrals to her. She's actually left the company and she was the only one that had access. Would I be able, if I send Laura some of my information, could I get access to the portal?
Yeah, definitely. If you just, I can get in touch with you after this and get that arranged. That's not a bother.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.
Just to add to that, if I can, I think what the important thing here, or one of the important things is as well, is keep referring, because Home Energy Scotland's a one-stop shop, for trying to reduce, high bills and kind of, preempt and stop that kind of, or alleviate that from happening. It is a holistic service that Home Energy Scotland offer. They'll give you energy efficiency advice, behavioural advice, they'll give you advice on your property. And there's various, other things, very positive things.
I didn't realise you actually provided food as well, food vouchers as well. I wasn't aware of that.
It's like a one-stop shop.
That tends to be the two things that people obviously struggle with, and some of my participants. So.
But again, some of these schemes are just so, like John was saying, they're so transitory. It just depends that somebody's got some money, then they'll open it and then it'll close.
Are we speaking a month? Are we speaking 6 months to give me an idea, or does it just depend? Can you not tell me? Give me a rough estimate.
It's really difficult, Adonna, to be honest with you, because sometimes the funding is allocated and you kind of think I think to myself, that's going to last me, or that fund will be open for 2 months and then it gets inundated and then it's gone within a month. So it's really difficult.
Easily swallowed up.
Yeah. So I don't want to say, you've got 6 months to get that and then it's gone.
So that could actually explain why some of the participants didn't get it. It's possibly the fund had closed.
Yeah.
That's another thing is that allocation could have been gone.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's probably something for a wider topic, but I think, that this is the problem, isn't it? That everything's very reactive and very short term. Yeah. So you're kind of giving people a help then, and then it's gone. And then it reopens.
Is there any other agencies, like apart from yourself, who actually do that, provide, grants and things, or are you the only one sort of in the Grampian area that does that?
In terms of probably best speaking to the partnership officers. There's some people around this table who probably virtual table will probably know best. I mean, it is just a case of different things.
Okay.
and funds opening. So I'm just looking, there's a few people with their hands up. I think, Kathy, did you have your hand up? Because I've noticed you've had your hand up for a while.
Yes, I think Lynn's probably answered my question. I've had two families just in the last 2 days fuel poverty, and I've just been making the referral through the portal. Now, I'm very aware that the demand at the portal is going to be huge at the moment. I know what Sean's talking about new funding, and we can't access that funding direct. So my worry is that if they're maybe sitting waiting to be seen, we're going to be missing it. So I just wondered if there's something more proactive. But I'm hearing about, I think it was Susan, Diane, am I right, that used to deal with the care, which specific families that probably the financially vulnerable that we support. Is that right?
We have an energy carer as well, so sometimes that will we can refer on. That's Susan. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I've been putting on the portal referral for the attention of the energy carer, but on reading Lynn's reply there, I'm wondering, Diane, if I should be sending you an email at the same time so that you can make sure that they go through to the carer. Would that be right?
As long as you put it in the notes, it will be picked up by the advisor that that you're looking for a referral to Susan, and the advisor will be able to identify that very quickly anyway when speaking. If they do require a visit. So yeah, if you just pop it into the portal notes as usual, if you think they need that support, and the advisor will look out for that on the call. So yeah, you're doing all the right thing. Just pop it in there.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like if you have somebody that has no credit on their meter, or has been cut off, then their first port of call would be their energy supplier. And that's where, again, like Sean, perhaps if you're in those situations, that's getting in touch with Sean's team. Would you say, Sean, because you're better placed to act as a broker if they're
definitely
struggling?
So what number would it be to reach you then, Sean? I've written down two numbers. There's an 0800 and an 0808. Would it be one of those two?
I'll go.
What could you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easier.
Yeah.
The 0808 one then we would use, yeah. And that one is for agencies. It's not to be given out to families. Is that right?
No, I don't see that number there to be given out to anybody.
Yeah, all our numbers are for anybody. Yeah. It's fine. But particularly, like, I think that's when we were talking about it in terms of like fuel debt and people in absolute crisis who need help negotiating with their fuel supplier. The home energy advice team is the best route for that.
Yeah.
And when we're hearing new funding coming out, like we did, I think it was last week or the week before, that we can't access direct, should we be phoning Sean's number to get access? Is that going to be quicker than through the portal, for example?
It will depend. You're probably best actually messaging Diane or Laura direct on that, because the funding, it depends where it comes in and who can access it. So, that will give you a catch-all, because we should be liaising with Sean, and then Diane will pass you to Sean if it's someone. You've got your hand up, Sean.
Yeah, I just want to say, just because this will definitely speed up any process, is if any persons or if any of you are going to be signposting clients to ourselves, I would make the clients aware to have proof of, say, a benefit. Have a disability letter ready, have a letter saying this is my benefit I got, have a fuel bill ready, because a lot of schemes just now are asking for this proof. So if you're able to make sure they've got it on a phone call to us or at a home visit, it streamlines the process. I found just now that actually what is holding up a lot of people actually getting applications put in for funding is they're running about looking for proof of bills because they don't have any to hand. So
would you be able to just do like a little quick bullet point top tips? I'll give you a hand with it, Sean, and we'll put that out when we circulate, just so that for anybody that's wanting to make a referral, that how they can help their clients speed that process up.
In terms of smart meters, this might have been something that was covered, but in terms of smart meters, we get a few questions that say, my energy bill is X amount, my direct debit is X amount, but my smart meter says I'm not using that. Is there a way to press energy companies to get them calibrated, or is that a common issue that you guys are aware of? Because that's how we find some clients are actually judging their energy use and then finding their direct debits are bouncing up a couple of months later.
Wow, we used to have a smart, or we do have a smart meter champion at Home Energy Scotland, but it's not me and it's not Laura.
I'd have thought.
Is that
I don't know if
increases
Sean
in
might know more.
prices?
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
I was
about
going to say
that.
Sean might actually, when he jumped ship, may know more about the state of play with smart meters. Or certainly what we could do is if we can't, we'll get someone to contact you about that direct, Andrew.
So can I ask if they're still paying more than what their usage is saying?
So yeah, the usage is they're basing their usage on the smart meter. So they're saying gas and electric combined monthly amount, say for example, arbitrary figure, £100 a month. They're finding their direct debit, although the direct debit is obviously an average over the 12 months, they're finding that their direct debit is higher now than what the average would be based on the smart meter readings. I've considered, is there a double live? Has someone else got access to the supply, you know, maybe a split supply in old tenements, things like that? None of that seems to account for a couple of the clients that I've got. They just cannot rectify the issue that their smart meter is telling them one amount, but their energy usage from the provider is telling them that they're using a higher amount.
Because my first thought was that they're keeping the direct debit slightly higher to offset for the months where you're going to be using more energy. That would have been my first thought, but it might be worthwhile going to the supplier and asking to have a check meter installed to try and figure out where this extra usage is, or to try and figure out why they're charging more. So you can ask for a check meter. I will say that all suppliers just now are inundated, so trying to get, let's say, a check meter installed, or to even get a meter switched if somebody's moved from total heat, total control to a single rate meter is really difficult. But they would be my first two options. But I would say, like Lynn and Laura were saying there, is a good idea would be to maybe pass this information on to the smart meter champion at Home Energy Scotland, because this is the sort of stuff that they could look into, or at least have a more rounded answer to what would be going on there.
Yeah, I've made a note of that. What I can do is I can put that down and ask someone to get back to you to at least talk through the, certainly good advice from Sean. Like I say, at the moment, obviously, we've got so much information coming in about the price cap rise, but also what the government are going to be doing to offset it. I think it's now sitting that the devolved authorities have money to decide what they're going to do. So this is a waiting game. And I think it's just going to be a case of trying to kind of piece it all together and find out what the position is going to be, and then how we can all help practically going forward. We'll post this, the recording of this, and we will keep information flowing through about what we can about any other practical help and advice and that's coming out of the various agencies. But it's just going to be a case, I think, of everybody keeping in touch and using the numbers and keeping connected into social media, keeping an eye on the news and websites, and certainly don't worry about giving us a shout. And if you've got direct contact details, a lot of you will have Laura and Diane. Go through those, or there's you'll get info@scarf.org.uk as well. I think that's the right one, isn't it? We keep chopping and changing. Yes, there you go. So you just thought I didn't want to give out a dud email address, but it's there. So yeah, if you need to get in touch with us to find out what's going on, because we'll try and put out as much information through partnership newsletters, through just social media, just posting stuff. But it's just going to take us a bit of time to get everything together in light of the news today.
Yeah. And I was just going to say as well, for any partners, as Lynn said, we do keep in touch, but we do run every sort of bi-monthly like sort of update sessions as well. So if you're not part of that, again, do get in touch with like myself and Diane, and we can get you invited into that regularly as well. So it's just another one there.